Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming on short notice. I want to introduce the people behind me. This is Deputy Chief Mary Newman, who's in charge of our Criminal Investigations Bureau. This is Chief David Baker, who's in charge of our Uniform Patrol Bureau. This is Chief Elizabeth Davis. This is Captain Carrie Newman, oversees our detectives. And then there's Chief Greg Gonzalez. The purpose of this press conference is to provide details on the officer-involved shooting that occurred yesterday evening. I will provide a timeline of events and take some questions at the end. A packet of information regarding the suspects' names and date of birth have been provided. We will follow up with their criminal histories. We'll forward that to you electronically. On Friday, March 8th at 9:25 p.m., Omaha narcotics officers and the Omaha Police SWAT team served a search warrant at 6532 Wirt Street. At the search warrant, the officers located 11 pounds of meth, which is a street value of $500,000, over $95,000 in cash, 3 handguns, 3 bulletproof vests, and arrested 6 people for criminal conspiracy and possession with intent to deliver meth. Those 6 people are included on the packet that you have. At 10:05 p.m., Omaha Police narcotics officers and a sergeant from the Sarpy County Sheriff's Department attempted to arrest 2 additional suspects who were connected to the investigation at 6532 Wirt Street. Officers located Jennifer M. Lovings, 35 years old, and Jason M. Welch, 34 years old, in a vehicle in the parking lot of the Walgreens at 5038 Center Street. Ms. Lovings was driving the vehicle and Mr. Welch was the front seat passenger. The officers attempted to box in the suspect vehicle with their own unmarked narcotics vehicles. As one Omaha police detective got out of his vehicle and gave loud verbal commands to stop and get out of the car. Ms. Lovings ignored the officers' commands to stop and began ramming her vehicle into 2 other unmarked police vehicles. At this time, one of the Omaha Police Department unmarked vehicles got caught up in the suspect vehicle and was pushed a short distance through the Walmart parking lot. The detective who was driving this vehicle was able to get out of the vehicle and was in a position that was dangerous between the suspect's vehicle and his vehicle. He gave loud verbal commands to stop. However, Mr. Welch, front seat passenger, responded by reaching down towards the floorboard of the vehicle. At this point, the officer discharged his duty weapon. He fired 3 times as he feared that Mr. Welch was armed and reaching for a weapon. After the shots were fired, Mrs. Lovings drove the vehicle out of the Walgreens parking lot at a high rate of speed, with Mr. Welch still in the passenger seat. Present in the Walgreens parking lot were 2 Omaha police detectives, 1 Omaha police narcotics sergeant, and a Sarpy County Sheriff's Department sergeant. At 10:08 p.m., an Omaha Police Uniform Patrol officer observed the suspect vehicle at 29th and Mason Street and initiated a vehicle pursuit. At 10:10 p.m., at Turner Boulevard and Leavenworth Avenue, a narcotics sergeant called off the pursuit because the suspects were known to the officers and the vehicle was under electronic surveillance. The vehicle was being tracked by a court-authorized GPS system. It should be noted at this time that Douglas County Attorney Don Klein was aware of the GPS system, was aware of this investigation from the start. Along the route that the suspect vehicle traveled, officers backtracked and recovered more than $7,400 in U.S. currency. At 10:31 p.m., the suspect vehicle was located parked near 48th and W Street. Ms. Lovings was not located. However, officers found Mr. Welch in the front passenger seat. He was suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. Rescue personnel were immediately called to the scene and transported Mr. Welch to the University of Nebraska Medical Center, where Mr. Welch is in extremely critical condition. At 4 a.m., Omaha narcotics officers and the Omaha Police SWAT team served a search warrant at 4666 Marcy Street, which is the residence of Ms. Lovings. The following items were located: 1.8 pounds of meth with a street value of about $80,000 and a stolen handgun. I am unable to identify the officer who discharged his duty weapon in this incident due to the sensitive nature of his undercover work at this time. What I can tell you is the officer has over 10 years with the Omaha Police Department He is a decorated officer who has not been involved in any other previous officer-involved shootings. In addition, the level of service this officer has provided to the community is above and beyond given the nature of his work. If by chance, and I ask all of the media, if by chance you do happen to determine who this officer is, I'm asking that you do not release his name or photo at this time. The release of his biographical information will place other lives in jeopardy. The Omaha Police Department's Officer-Involved Shooting Squad is investigating the incident and has briefed Douglas County Attorney Don Kine, who is aware of the officer's identity. Per Omaha Police Department policy, any officer who discharges his firearm that results in injuries placed on paid administrative leave, pending the homicide and internal affairs investigations. If Mr. Welsh dies from his injuries, a grand jury will be convened. We are asking for the public's help in finding suspect Jennifer Lovings, who has arrest warrants and charges pending. Anyone with information on the location of Ms. Lovings is encouraged to call Crime Stoppers at 444-STOP. These tips to Crime Stoppers can and will remain anonymous if you request. Be happy to take some questions.